What up? This is a Dominican bundled, box pressed Dominican cigar. This would be called, I believe, a Puro or a Fuma. I think it's a Fuma. I believe they're Fumas. And the reason why I say Fumas is because Fumas are one blend of tobacco. The wrapper, the binder, and the filler are all one same leaf. And it's snowing. Now these are good bundled cigars. I mean, for it being a um, gosh, I just forgot the name already. For these being a Fuma. Now they won't call bundled cigars Fumas most of the time because people think that that's like fancy or something, but it's really not. It's just a cigar that's just one all together, just one leaf tobacco. And what I mean is the wrapper, the binder, and the filler are all the exact same blend. They aren't different blended tobacco leaves. They're all the same. Um, versus the majority of my cigars are actually multiple tobacco leaves ground up into the blend. That's why they call it a blend, is because it's more than one plant into the product. And it is fantastic though. It's good. But not all Fumas are created equal. I will say I have tasted some Fumas, and they tasted like burnt coffee, and not a good type of coffee flavor, I would say. Um, and these kind of they can kind of get on you too. If you're not in the mood for one, it can it's just the nasty acrid smoke. And also other times, depending on if you're outside like I am now or inside, and you have a cold smoke on it, a lower temperature draw on the cigar, it actually has a slightly different taste in the tobacco. It really does. It really does. See, you won't get that with, well, you might get that with food, but you won't get that with other products in life. You won't get that with alcohol. You won't get that with cigarettes. Another product in the tobacco industry. You can't get that anywhere. You can't really even get that with marijuana. You know that's legal. So let that sink in. Maybe in the wine tasting industry, I would assume probably you might have similar tastes, but or you might get different tastes depending on how something is prepared or whatever. But cigars are very unique because you could have the exact same cigar with the exact same tobacco in it, and depending on the environment that it's kept in, to how it's dried and stored and fermented, and um, where you smoke it, what the temperature is outside, what the humidity is, what the lack of humidity did or didn't do. There are so many factors that come into cigars. You cannot say the same with cigarettes. You can't say that with vaping. You can't say that with alcohol. You can't say that with marijuana. You might be able to say that with food, in some stretches, but cigars are truly a unique hobby because they are the most. You could have such a I wouldn't say volatile, but you can have such a swing of slight different. Well, I shouldn't say huge swing, but of slight differences in flavor profiles that you can taste when you smoke it. See, that's why I'm not a fan of cigarette people. But you know, whatever. I don't hate them. I'm just saying that it's a different thing. A cigarette, no matter where you, no matter where you, no matter how many packs you open, you'll never get a different smoking experience. I mean, depending on, if you have the same pack and you buy the same pack again, it's the exact same smoke. It's gonna smoke the exact same way. It's gonna have the exact same flavor profile. Nothing is different about it. Cigars are not like that. You might have a good one, you might have a bad one. You might have all good ones, you might have all bad ones. Some might be fermented a little bit better than others. Like, for example, and I've still had good cigars that weren't fully fermented. Um, I've had some Dominican ones that weren't fully fermented in the curing process of the tobacco in the Dominican farms that they were raised in, right, where they hung up the tobacco upside down and let the chlorophyll basically die off of it, and it became brown and leathery, like to touch, right? Because that's what it actually comes out to when you actually ferment the actual tobacco, is it becomes almost leathery, and that's what they use to roll cigars and make wrapper leaves and pipe tobacco and all that stuff. But only 3% of U.S. smokers in the United States are cigar smokers. The rest are cigarette smokers. So we are in an elitist company. But another thing is that on top of that, cigarettes are actually on the decline, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because it's not good if you're investing in tobacco stocks. Well, I mean, you're still going to get good money, but not, where it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. And I would say the tobacco industry, out of all the vices that are, out there as far as marijuana and alcohol and food and stuff, we're not regulating tobacco like we are with food and drink and marijuana and drugs in the United States. No, we're worried more about tobacco. Uh-oh, we want to ban tobacco because it can cause lung cancer. But we don't want to ban alcohol because that causes cirrhosis. See what I'm saying? I can smoke a cigar in my car and drive and not drive impaired, where you cannot say the same with alcohol or marijuana. Okay? And they want to regulate big tobacco more than big pharma, big banks, big healthcare, big marijuana, and the big alcohol and spirits conglomerates, right? That's how messed up it is, right? There's a stigma against them, and I'm new wave where I don't have stigma against tobacco companies, right? My one friend is he he he's not a fan of cigars. That was because of what he went through, with his medical condition, and but he didn't get it from that. It was just must have been genetic or something. God bless him, right? But yeah, it's just there's such a stigma with big tobacco, and I'll never understand it in this country. It's crazy, right? Now there is starting to become a little bit more awareness of medical marijuana and not using it while driving, right? So they're treating it a little bit like alcohol, but not enough regulation. You have actual tobacco tobacco conglomerates that are actually worried that they're going to ban their product in the United States altogether. And I don't know. I mean, Would I be surprised if New York State or California did that? I would not be surprised. I think that that would be vastly unpopular. I think that that would be vastly stupid. You would lose lots of jobs, right? You'd lose lots of manufacturing tobacco jobs in the United States doing that, right? You'd lose out on taxes, right? So, that's how I look at it. You know, a lot of these, I would say, institutions of government agencies are worried more about the aesthetics of it, you know. But really, big tobacco actually does do lots of good things too. They do donate to lots of charities and stuff. They make lots of money. They create lots of jobs, high-paying jobs for people in the United States and in Europe and in South America and Asia and abroad. Okay. In fact, I'll give you an example. Altria, the company that makes, I believe, Camel cigarettes. Yes, Camel cigarettes and Marlboro are made by union workers. I believe they're union workers. They might not be, but they're people that are very well paid. I would say at least $20 an hour, right? Very well paid. All and they show their factory, and it's all automated, nice, brand new equipment, brand new facility, brand new building, right? And these industries are bringing good paying jobs, taxes into the economy that help schools, roads, bridges. But the government's too stupid because they want to get into the political pleasing of the people below them. So if it was up to me, I'd deregulate big tobacco. I would reverse the ban on menthol cigarettes in California, and also I think New York is trying to do the same thing. And another thing is that they try to get into the I wouldn't say race baiting, but they would say Newport cigarettes, for example, are a favorite amongst the African American community and in other people of color, and I think it's just because they're cheaper. They're a more satisfying flavor than regular cigarettes, right? And they want to ban those too. I think also in the state of New York and in California. And you're just losing business. That's what you're doing. You're losing business. You're losing taxes. You're hurting the economy doing that. And the only person that you're hurting is American workers and American industry and American taxes. So by banning all this stuff, and you're not legalizing medical marijuana across all 50 states, you're just making the country worse. You're making this country lose jobs because of you want to appeal to a certain demographic of people that you think that that's the right way to appeal to people, and it's not because you're taking jobs away. And these people that make these cigars, I would say, these are usually South American, Dominican, Hispanic, uh, a Hispanic uh, community typically. Not always, but typically, unless they're American made or European made, right? Which they're even more expensive if they're made in first world countries. But big tobacco is helping these communities, right? The Dominican Republic is, making money off their tobacco and fruit exports and all this stuff. It's fantastic. And we need to do everything to lobby politicians to repeal these bans on tobacco products and regulations on big tobacco. That's my thoughts on it. In other news, I got a cigar catalog today, and that made my day. That made my day. I made many, or made many. I enjoyed many cigars in the I think the 2 years that I've had my subscription with cigars.com. Very many awesome cigars from all different countries. Honduras, Nicaragua, the Dominican Republic, United States. Um, I've had some from Kentucky, some from you know I think I've had Kentucky, Kentucky, Virginia tobacco, stuff like that. I've had Brazilians. I've had Brazilian tobacco. Oh yeah, and they all taste different. They all taste different. But my least favorite is Honduran because it just tastes acrid and smoky, and it does not have a good flavor profile whatsoever, unless it's mixed with another tobacco in its blend. If it's not, it tastes horrible. And also, Honduran tobacco is the cheapest of them all. And in my opinion, I view Honduran tobacco as the least quality tobacco you can get because it's so cheap. And the taste is awful, in my opinion. Other people might like it. I think it's disgusting. Because it's just acrid. It's acrid and bitter and tastes like you're eating. You're tasting. It tastes like you're licking an ashtray, and that's not what a cigar is at all. But yeah, I got the weekend off, so that's great. Then I got to cut down a tree. Well, not cut it down. It's already down. I got to delimb it and then cut it. That I will be doing. And yeah, that is my weekend. And I'm thankful for everything I got. I'm thankful for everything I got, the job that I have. Even if things aren't as perfect as I want them to be, I am thankful. And when you look at it that way, you know, nobody can break you, right? Nobody can break you. Nobody can knock you off center. Nobody can hate on you with it affecting you. Nope. I'm very fortunate. And not too many people that I know of, especially in this country. I don't know about other countries, but especially in this country, not a lot of people are thankful for what they have. The jobs that they have, the health care that they have, the retirement that they have, the 401k, the stock options that they have, the stocks that they own, like I do. Okay, nobody is thankful for that. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, because there is people out that are thankful. But I have not met anyone that has been thankful for what they own, materialistically, financially, in the stock market, so on and so forth. But and if you're worried about making more money or about not making ends meet, then you have to put in the work. And that's me. I put in the work. I put in the work for months, working 6 days a week. And if I have to, and if a person calls into my job, I have to stay over for half a shift and cover that person for 12 hours. Will it piss me off? Absolutely not. Because I'm doing my God given duty and I'm getting paid for it. Time and a half. And I'm paid well. I'm compensated very well. The most I've ever made. I'm thankful. And no, I don't have any money on me. I don't have any money on me. It's all digital. There's so many people that don't want to put in the work in building their empire, their legacy, their career. And I am. Even if I have to sell my soul, I'll put in the work and it doesn't bother me. If a person doesn't come into work for the next shift, I stay over. No harm, no foul. I hold no ill will against that person. If they call in or call off, if they're sick, they quit, whatever, doesn't bother me. And I would do 12s. I would do 12-hour shifts till they find another person. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. It used to bother me if I had to do something like that. Doesn't bother me anymore. Because I like what I do. And if you like what you do, it's never work. It says it right on my LinkedIn. If you like what you do, it's never work. Because you're learning skills. You're paid well. Your your organization gives back to you. And I'm thankful. My 401k is a 12% return from last year. Right now it's not doing good for this year, but that's the new year. And I'm okay with that because it always goes up and down, but the S&P 500 always goes up in time. And you don't, that's another thing is, before I close out, you don't see too many women that say, "Hey, I'm going to sell my soul for money." You see it more with guys, but maybe it's because I don't notice it with women. But you never see it with women. You never see women that say, "I'm going to sell my soul. I'm going to be professional. And I'm going to put my nose to the grindstone and have a great attitude every day, wave to people, be in a good attitude, and put in the work every single day. Every day. Every day. Always have a good attitude. Even when people are screaming in your face, trying to intimidate you, shouting at you from afar, they can't knock you off center. And believe me, I have that every single day. Confident people have these problems every single day. I do. Doesn't bother me. They can go ahead and crawl back in their hole of misery. I'm a happy person, and I try to surround myself with, happy friends. And that would be my lawyer friend. That's a very happy person, very successful, and he's got a successful family, and he carved himself out a nice career as a Manhattan lawyer. Okay? I don't think I know anyone else that's carved out their life like that, like myself and him. I don't know too many men that do that. Okay? Those are examples of high value men. You will not see lots of high value men and women. I don't know why. Well, actually, I do. I think it's the culture. The culture is, it's okay to chill and hang out and have beer and drink pizza on the weekends and do nothing. But, if you want to have something more than just a 9 to 5 job and a 40-hour fucking work week, then you got to put in the work. You got to work those 12s. You got to work 60 hours a week. You got to work 48 hours a week, 50 hours a week, and not complain about it. Come in the next day. Come in maybe the next day and a half, in the morning, doing a swing shift, and don't complain about it. And that's me. That's me. I think I'm the only person that I know that's like that. Well, that and my lawyer friend. And hats off to him. Because I think, him and I are very similar as far as we like what we do. He's white collar, a politician, excuse me, a lawyer, an employment lawyer in Manhattan, in the big city, and I'm on the opposite end. I'm a blue collar worker, union worker that loves what I do in a factory in the rural community that I live in. So we're polar opposites, but we're not that different because we both like what we do. We talk about what we do. We like to learn stuff, what we do every day. So him and I are very similar, right? And it's very cool when you can actually have a friend like that that's almost like you, but in a different way. That's cool. But if you surround yourself with many people surround themselves with average, mediocre, or below average people, and then they wonder why they're poor, while why they're a poor single mom, or they have 5 kids and they can't even afford a full time job, or they don't want to work a full time job, or they can't find good jobs, or they find excuses. Well, the government isn't providing for this. Well, then you got to somehow adapt. It's unfortunate, no doubt, but you must adapt. And I adapted every single step of the way, every time. I learn, I apply that knowledge, and you love what you do every day. And you come in with a great attitude and professionalism every single day. Almost like a drill instructor. Almost like a drill sergeant. And you won't find too many people like me or my friend that are like that. Especially me. Because everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to be a pleaser. Well, I'm not a pleaser, and I don't want to, I don't want to be hated, but I don't care if I'm liked, because I'm happy with who I am. And if other people aren't happy with who I am, then fuck them. Fuck them. They're miserable. They can go crawl back in their miserable rock cave. But if they're happy for me, I'm happy for them. Right? If they're happy for me, I'll gladly give them a hand up. Not a hand out, a hand up. But yeah, to close out, I'm very thankful. The work ethic I've had is, I would, in my opinion, and I don't like to brag too much because I can see how it would um, upset people, and it looks kind of biased, but I would say that my work ethic is second to none. If you want to make lots of money, you have to sell your soul and work a lot, and repeat those hours, or day in and day out, day in and day out. Work for months on end, working 6 days, and then your day off is maybe about half a day off because you have to prepare for the next shift, the next day, which is very early or very late, depending on how it rotates. And yeah, there's just not too many people out there that are willing to do that every day. There's a lot of people that will drink, a lot of people that will there's a lot of people that will drink, there's a lot of people that will use drugs like marijuana and other drugs to cope. I don't do that. I don't care. I don't care, and I always want to grow. And the past 3 jobs I've been in, I've always grown. I've learned new stuff. I've grown as a person. I know when to shush, and I know when to speak up. And it doesn't matter if you do one or the other. You'll still have people that will just hate your guts because you're so different. You know, it's scary how many people are like that, because it's this culture that it's mediocrity. It's okay to be average. It's okay to be a loser. It's okay to make minimum wage because it's the government's fault. which maybe it is. I'm not saying that it isn't, but you're not taking action as a man, as a woman, as a father, as a mother, as a grandparent, as a grandfather, as a brother or sister, whoever. You're not taking action. I took action, and I'm making the most money that I've ever made. And I like what I do, and I'm in a union, and I learn lots of things every day. I learn something new. I learn how to deal with different people that don't like me, day in and day out, day in and day out. And I'm a hard motherfucker. I would probably still work if one of my, distant relatives passed. I would probably still work on that day. There's not a lot of people like me because that's what I'm familiar with and that's what I like. When I'm not working, it bothers me. But yeah, that's it. Peace.